Up, guys?
What's going on, dudes?
Hey.
Hey, how are you
How's
doing?
everybody doing?
We good? Are we surviving these Bitcoin markets?
Chop
I'm seeing
chop.
I'm seeing 41,200. Is that about right?
I'm loading 37,000. That's weird. I wonder where my data's
Yeah.
pulling from.
No, you're probably right. I think my stuff's outdated. All right, so where are we with markets? What are you guys seeing out there?
I think Rose frozen. I was wondering why we hadn't heard anything from him.
Yeah, he's definitely frozen.
Yeah, looks like we're from what I'm hearing is we're getting close to the end of consolidation. We've been going through a couple weeks of it. We may have another week of it, but I feel like after maybe next week, we're off to the races. At least with Bitcoin.
You think Bitcoin leads the pack here? You think it's just straight Bitcoin dominance comes back?
I don't know. I mean, I think we could see alts rally harder than Bitcoin here. But I think it's a sneak attack, right? Like I think money has accumulated alt bottoms, right? I think Bitcoin's going to push and alts are going to push with it, and I think they're going to be flowing money from alts into Bitcoin, and then when everybody's waiting on the alt mega pumps, that's when Bitcoin's really gonna just show out, because that's what they've been doing. They've been averaging into Bitcoin. I think we talked about it like early in the year about like how are the people that were late to the game going to get more Bitcoin, and it's like they're going to take it from people through alts. So I think alts may lead for the next couple weeks, but I be looking to get into a Bitcoin position, into August.
Ro, what do you think?
Yeah, let me share my screen real quick. Yeah, we're still in the middle of a range right now for me in terms of Bitcoin. We kind of tapped the top of the range and we're kind of pulling back. That being said, I would kind of expect us to make a higher low from here. So right here, we made a new high, taking this high out. I'm pretty sure this one specifically will hold as a low. So like, if you're trying to trade this, I'd put my stop right below that and kind of look for all-time highs. We've retested this diagonal resistance twice, 1, 2. I would expect like a third time to get some reaction from it, but yeah, I would expect like the third or fourth time we should break above it. So in the interim, especially with stock RSI kind of showing negative momentum, I'm kind of bearish for the next week or so. Yeah, and then also, I don't know if we want to get into this too much, but Ghost Month is happening starting August 8th, I believe. Yeah, starting August 8th. So that's a couple of days away. And if you don't know what Ghost Month is, it's like just primarily Chinese, but an Asian kind of festival that is it's like spirits and stuff. I don't really know the details of it, but there is some financial implications. In general, it's bad practice to trade during this time. And so what you see is like a lot of volume get dried out from the markets, specifically on the Asian side of things. And so yeah, I would expect not a lot of fireworks on Bitcoin or the majors in the next kind of few months, because it's bad juju to trade during this time over in Asia.
Okay, that's kind of weird, but cool. All right, so are we going? Are we just trending down? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, so like this is this range that we're in. I don't expect us to break out of it maybe until September. Um, yeah, I would expect just kind of just chop, right? That's it's just I don't know. We're not trending, that's for sure. So we can be in chop for a very long time. But again, on this third or fourth retest of this diagonal resistance is kind of when I would start to get bullish again.
Okay. Well, we will wait and see. Let's switch gears and talk about HNT. We had the halvening happen just a few days ago, I guess, about a week ago, 5 days ago. And we left off last week kind of in anticipation of it. We saw a little bit of volume increase leading up to the halvening on the day of, and then we've seen just a pretty healthy sell off a little bit, just a trickle down, not really a sell off, but it's been ranging pretty tightly for the last couple of months here. Few things: supply rewards have been cut in half. 23% of the supply has been locked up long term in validators and staking. And the number of hotspots that are being deployed are, that number is growing at an exponential rate. And of course, the rewards that are made available for each individual hotspot and each hotspot operator are being, cut back, and there's, you could say there's attrition going on there. So what gives at this point? What does the chart say? Looking at all of those catalysts, some of the largest ones being behind us and some major ones being up ahead as well. What does the chart say?
That's probably the toughest thing for me to say for sure. I can pull up the chart, but I'm not like confident in it. 1 second.
To me, like I'm looking at a different chart though, but to me it says it wants to retest 1212. And if it retests 1212 and 1212 holds like $12.12, then we should be off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, why 1212?
That's what I'm seeing. I can share my screen.
I'll stop sharing then.
So let's talk for a minute, though. I mean, what's going on with the halvening? What's going on with the actual supply? And is that significant? Is that actually going to play out in price?
I mean, broadly speaking, I would say every halvening is bullish after some short-term volatility from the actual news event itself, or the supply shock, if you will. But anytime there's a halvening, that just decreases the total sell pressure on the network. And it happens kind of overnight or over the course of one block. And so that is, in my view, fundamentally bullish for any blockchain. So yeah, I would say there will be volatility, and we're kind of seeing that right now. But broadly speaking, and like mid to long term, I would say that's extremely bullish for HNT. The only hesitancy I have in like that is just saying, HNT has had a monumental run up already, going from under $1 to $20+ That's quite a run. And so that's not to say, it can't keep going. It can't be like being reaccumulated right now. But that is my only cause for concern. That being said, I'm still mid to long-term bullish for sure.
Okay. Any thoughts, Tyler? 1212.
Yeah. So what we're looking at here is the price is towards the top of the Bollinger Bands, which means that based on past trading history, it's trading at a relative high at what traders have valued the token at in the recent history. And it's also inside of the Ichimoku cloud, which acts as a magnet for price on the chart, right? Especially when you see a flat line like here at the top of the Ichimoku cloud, that's especially attractive, based on an attractive price level based on the past movement of the stock or of the coin. So it's inside the cloud and it's above its moving averages. So right now we're looking at it trying to build support. Once it can establish some strong support, then we could see a reversal of trend. This pink line represents its current trend trajectory. As you can see, the price candles are hugging to this trend line. If we can test this as support one more time around this 0.23 fib level and the Fibonacci retracement level that we're in, that could serve as some very, very, very strong support. And you can see that level as at $12.1197 based on wick to wick, which is how you draw that tool. So if we can hold at that level and make a strong reversal off of that, then we could start trying to gravitate towards one of these upper trends, that is one of the greater trend lines of the entire chart, which should be more attractive to price than something like this that is a more short-term trend line. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at that 1212 level. Now, if it gets rejected, and we go below, then I mean we could start gravitating more towards this trend line, which is not a very good situation, and that leads more into like the dystopian that Rishi suggested could happen, where everybody just starts to turn off their miners and shut down.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. Some opposing forces, if you will. I'm wondering if this chart's actually going to come out clearly on the feed. I can hardly see it, just very blurry.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's your screen or our internet or what, but we'll see what the feed looks like. Let's switch gears and talk about SEC. The SEC asking Congress for more authority to regulate crypto. That had some sort of effect on crypto markets, just in the short term, as it would, as headlines like that tend to have some sort of effect. But what do you guys think? It's a good thing or a bad thing? And what is this that we're looking at? There we go.
I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Mainly because like their whole thing was about, I watched like the Gary Gensler clip. It's like 2 or 3 minutes, and he mentioned investor protection maybe 10 times. But like you can get on Robinhood and buy options that are going to go to zero 90% of the time. So like, I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and also, making brokers or making everybody a broker who interacts with HNT. But at the end of the day, it's inevitable. That's the way this is always going to have gone. If crypto is to become a thing and a more prominent thing in the future, then it's always going to be regulated. And so, yeah, I think there's just a lot of back and forth. The last thing I'll say about this is I did see the president or commissioner of the Commodities Exchange of commodities. I don't even know. Basically say that Bitcoin is a commodity via the Commodity Exchange Act. And so the SEC does not have any oversight into commodities. Only the CFTC does. And so I thought that was a pretty bold statement by the commissioner of the commodities, CFTC. What is it? Whatever it is.
No, I definitely agree with Ro here. I think that this Gensler guy is seeing this as his opportunity to walk out and sit on the board of some company. I think this is a ploy to try to get more money from blockchain to come into lobbying and into government and to Congress, because that's the only way. That's the only way that either he gets all this power and shuts down the industry, or we put money into lobbying, which gets into Congress, which then allows everything to get more complicated, which means he has to do less work. But yeah, Ro's right. He can't do anything with Bitcoin or any of the other things that have been ruled as commodities. And I think that's a big reason of why a lot of these altcoins are not gonna keep up with Bitcoin throughout the year. Is because they're gonna come after a lot of these alts. Anything that's ICO'd, anything that people bought because they think the value is going to go up, he thinks that he can go after. And what he's using is the New Jersey Attorney General's argument against BlockFi, or was it BlockFi or Blockfolio, for the for the depository.
BlockFi.
Yeah, he's using that case as a reason to say that he doesn't have to have all 5 prongs of the Howey test to go after somebody. He really only needs one. And if he can prove that he only needs that one prong to go after someone and prove that whatever they're offering is a security, then man, the SEC is going to have just way too much power, especially in this industry.
So what do you think Congress is likely to do when the formal request comes in? Because I don't know if that's happened yet, but it's just a bunch of headlines right now. What does Congress say? I don't know anything about politics, but what is our Congress likely to do?
Depends on how much money's in lobbying and by who.
I've seen some, actually, I follow very few people, but I've seen some people retweet stuff about calling your senator and making sure the current proposal does not go through. So, if we could get a grassroots effort to prevent anything from happening, maybe that would be powerful. But at this point, it's a coin flip in my mind. I have no idea.
All right. Good deal. Let's jump to the next topic. NFTs have been back, I guess, or back around. What's the current state of the NFT market, and what interesting stuff is going on there?
It's just wild. And it's not even NFTs on Ethereum. It's just NFTs. Some of the NFTs that existed before Ethereum, the rare Paypays. I got a friend that bought a rare Paypay for $19,000 a couple months back, and it sold for $123,000 a couple of days ago. Soul punks, just knockoff punks on the Solana blockchain. I know a guy that bought a ton of the Soul Punk supply, and he paid 80 Soul a piece. Now he's making 800, 1,000 Soul a piece selling these Soul Punks. People are going nuts. Meebits, people are just going crazy right now, thinking that everything's going to be worth the mint one day. And somebody brought up a good point that you can tell by the Meebits price floors who it is that's buying up all of the NFTs. It's white guys. The price floor for white guy Meebits is just so high where the price floor for everything else is so low. And it's silly because like it's just a big circle jerk, right? Like it's not like the whole world, like it's not catching fire like everybody thinks it is. It's a bunch of wash trading in between VCs, and they're trying to like create this like flywheel effect, and it's just not like it's just not I just don't think it's going to be a thing long term, like the mania that it is right now, paying, like Rishi showed for the art blocks, right? Like that's crazy, and $95 million worth of volume went over OpenSea's NFT marketplace, just the other day. And it's like, I think NFTs are revolutionary. I don't think they're going anywhere, but I just don't see how this is sustainable. I mean, this is just crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's not too long ago that Beeple had that record-breaking item of art, and then everything just kind of crashed really after that, and then here we are back at it again. So some things aren't slowing down. Cool. Last topic. Let's jump into Zcash. Ro, you got some thoughts on Zcash today?
Our Lord and Savior, Zuko Wilcox, announced a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, that he supports transitioning over Zcash from a proof of work blockchain to a proof of stake blockchain. Now, this is just a proposal. Nothing has been written in stone. Nothing has been approved. There hasn't been a community vote or anything. This is just one of the more prominent leaders of Zcash throwing his support to proof of stake. I'm pretty stoked because in my eyes, Zcash is what Bitcoin always was trying to be. But when it got released, they just didn't have the zero knowledge breakthrough technologies. Zero knowledge technologies to allow it to be private. And so the fact that you do have a community that is willing to upgrade and kind of make some fundamental changes to like the underlying protocols is pretty exciting to me. So yeah, there's still a lot to be figured out. It could be something kind of hybrid, like proof of work / proof of stake, 50-50 split, like Decred does. But right now, it's just a proposal, or it's just kind of again an prominent leader kind of saying, "Hey, he supports it." But I do think it will create a lot of interest. It will generate. Like one of the main drawbacks of any proof of work coin is the amount of electricity that's required to keep the network pumping. And so, yeah, I think just removing all of these negative aspects on top of the ultimate use case of incredible privacy, not only for the Zcash, but for any Zcash shielded asset. Yeah, I'm super bullish on that.
Cool. Tyler, you got any thoughts on Zcash and what proof of stake means for that coin and that ecosystem?
No, I think that, I think it bodes well for us. And I think it makes it easier if somebody wanted to attack it or to manipulate it. I think it makes it a little bit easier for them to do so. But at the same time, I think that hopefully by this point it's distributed enough to where, someone doesn't control enough of the coins to where they could attack it. I don't know, we're in a good position, and, I trust whatever Zuko says. He's obviously way smarter than we are.
Just because he started his own electric coin company?
No, just because he's been working like deep into this like proof of like privacy and sound money. Like he was a Satoshi collaborator, working with DARPA, working with like, I don't know. I mean, how do you get into the position that he's in at the age that he's in? Like, unless you're either really smart or really lucky.
That's fair.
This is my Zcash Bitcoin chart that I'm just so excited about. Yeah, like we've been in a downtrend since the 2017 pump, and I feel like we finally established a bottom right here down in 2021. Me being the Zcash holder that I am, I did paint out like the most bearish case scenario that I could look at, which would suck, candidly.
That looks awful.
Yeah, it would suck. But one of the things about the leadership behind Zcash is that they are not in any rush to like really pump this coin or anything. I think what they're really looking for is very organic, natural growth. And so just being like conditioned for this shit, this would be like my ultimate bear case scenario. As you can see, we did have this channel that we were going into, or that we were kind of running up on in early to halfway through 2021. We just broke out. That's not the end of the world. We could definitely break back in above it. But yeah, I think as far as these dates are concerned, I don't think this is necessarily going to happen. But yeah, this would be like my worst case scenario. September 6th is the end of Ghost Month. October 1st is when the Halo Arc upgrade is supposed to go live. And then December 19th is a full moon, which would be kind of just something to keep in mind.
So you think Zcash is going to be traded during Ghost Month?
So Ghost Month is bad for like things that require a lot of volume. So your majors, right? Ethereum is a major. Like the things that have the most volume. And so Zcash and altcoins, while Bitcoin and Ethereum are consolidating, that's what you want when you're talking about alt season. And so I do think like we're going to see, for me personally, I'm like super bullish on alts. Two that I really like are Link, which is, I think, the most beautiful chart I've ever seen. To me, this is the beginning of a Livermore accumulation cylinder. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you can call it, 6, 7, and then you have the moon, similar to this graphic right here. So I'm super stoked for what Link maybe. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way up here. This again is December 19th, full moon. I'm not saying it will necessarily do that, but it's a possibility that I'm definitely super excited for. So that's one thing I'm looking at, and then a similar chart. I'll just roll over here. Is the DGB chart?
I've got that pulled up right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the DGP chart looks super bullish and a very similar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what
You're
the
still
price
showing
target.
Link BTC.
Oh God. Okay. Anyway, if you want to pull up yours,
No, you go for it. I don't have any targets. I'm just looking at the chart.
We're actually winding down. Any final thoughts on Zcash here?
not specifically. Just keep stacking Zats.
There you have it. Surprise, surprise. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up here, and we'll pick back up next week. You guys have a good one.
See you guys.